Good evening, all of our DeFi and airdrop degens. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and this isn't the one hatter. I'm sure
Oh, I need to change my
he
name.
put that in when he went live and was doing his.
Oh, yep, there we go.
This is Jeff, aka the Blockchain Report, and we got
Welcome,
a
welcome.
great episode for you this evening. We're going to be talking about a potentially exciting new project that's going to be natively actually on Bitcoin, and it's going to
hmm
be a DeFi DEX and also potentially a stable coin. So we'll get into that here in a minute. But Jeff, do you want to introduce our socials?
Yes, yes. Let me share my screen right here. But welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this wonderful Monday. Hope your week is starting out great. You can catch us at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops every Monday and Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we go live and just talk about DeFi, airdrops, and how to take advantage of both of them in this volatile market, especially right now with the news dropping. Um, yeah, not great stuff, but hopefully the markets rebound. And you can catch our brother channels, Discover Crypto. They go live Monday through Friday. Same
I
with
can't see the
Blockchain
screen,
Basement.
brother.
Oh no. Oh, your your
We're looking
screen's
at my
over mine.
portfolio right now.
Yeah, there we go. Here we
All
go.
right.
Yeah, DeFi Crypto Airdrop on YouTube and our brother channels. They go live Monday through Friday. I forget what 7:30 Pacific. I forget what the Eastern. Yeah, but catch them in the morning times from like 7:30
Yes.
to
Yes.
10. Um, but yeah, and Vet his channel somewhere hidden around here. But you can catch us on Twitter. Catch Veteran at Veteran4Crypto, and make sure you're following the right account. You can catch me at the BCR142 and our DeFi crypto airdrops at the underscore only underscore DCA. We will not message you asking for investments or to help you invest. Anybody that does is a scammer. So,
Can a brother hold $5?
uh, yeah. Can I hold a five?
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
get
you,
some,
you
man.
got any of that crypto on you?
Tyrone. I need that DeFi, man. I need that
Yeah,
DeFi.
right. I need that yield, man.
I
I
need that yield. You
started
got
getting
you
that
got
itch.
$5 so I can get these liquidity
Yeah, I
pools.
need to get me some liquidity.
Oh, no liquidity's here, but we're gonna make sure you're protected.
Yep. All right. If you don't mind kicking it back over to me, I'll
Oh, it's
just do it.
already
We'll do a
over.
little a DeFi llama love,
Boom, boom.
and
Yeah,
we
you got.
will. There we go. All right. So the markets were doing good not too long ago, and then we started getting a pullback. So not sure if there was some news that cracked when I wasn't paying attention, but I know my portfolio was up quite a bit, and I was almost range on my. Let's see, here it is on my one of my wrapped ETH KTA pools, and so it looks like both of my wrapped ETH KTA pools are like well out of range now. They were this one, my larger one was almost back in, and this one was well in. So yeah, not quite sure what's going on with the markets, but I'll take a look at that while Jeff is talking about this cool new project, DeFi Llama. I always like to check the Yama. The Yama has good information.
Yummy, 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 yummy,
So
yummy, yummy.
anybody that's not familiar, I always talk on this platform is that important to DeFi. I want to make sure people know about this because here on the show we're always preaching that if you're going to invest in crypto and you're going to get involved in DeFi, you should always do so based off of facts, logic, reason, and not hype and emotions. Do not invest your money based off of a social media post. Whatever the flavor of the month is of meme coin or whatever project's going to go to $10,000 or whatever. So this is a great tool that you can use and you can actually see where the liquidity is going. So you can see, what chain, the flow of the liquidity to what chain, to what dexes. You can see the volume on individual the liquidity pools. There's just a lot of data here that you can look at to see what is the mood of the market. Is it pumping, is it dumping, RWA, TVL, just all these different matrices that allow you to better understand what's going on. So anyway, that's
Did
DeFi
your
life.
mic switch? It sounded a little muffled.
Oh, did it?
Oh,
Hold
that's
on.
better.
Let me check.
No,
Nope.
that sounds
Yeah,
better.
might just be my might be my internet, Starlink. I appreciate you checking it. Oh,
Hmm.
let's see. So, um, there was a little bit of news slash FUD on Solana. So, if you're not familiar, Pump.Fun is a platform that pretty much, pretty much all the memes were getting launched on as far as Solana, especially. And anybody that's
Mm-hmm.
not familiar, Solana is very, very heavy in meme coins. A lot of its volume in TVL is in meme coins. And so the X account on for Pump.Fun got suspended. Jeff, I mean, you said that you heard, like some possible reasoning for that. What was that?
Yeah, I was in a spaces earlier, and they were talking about Pump.Fun may potentially have been using a workaround to avoid paying for Twitter API data or something of that sort. But apparently, they were hacking a way to get more data for free, and I
No.
guess they got caught. So that could be because their founder was also suspended as well. I did see his account, but yeah, uh, I don't know. I mean, it's that Pump.Fun had a lot of issues, a lot of stuff with just
Well, I
it's
know
not a great.
yeah, the SEC was looking at him there for a minute. I don't know how that panned out. I actually saw, and I couldn't find anything that substantiated it, but I actually saw somebody posted that one of the co-founders of Pump.Fun got arrested. But again, I
Mm,
was not able to find any credible news or information on that. So take that with a grain of salt. I
hmm.
also saw where there was a new SEC uh, uh, I don't know. That the SEC was pursuing them yet again. Again, I could not find
Mm,
anything new on that. Back in January or something like that, the SEC did say something about looking into them. But that's,
mm,
again, nothing new, nothing credible. The only thing credible that we've seen so far. So if you're seeing FUD out there that's claiming more, make sure you look into it. Again, don't invest or uninvest based off emotions. Um, Not saying that Sol is going to crash or anything like that, but this is definitely potentially, not good news for Sol. And so we just want to make sure that all of you out there that might own Sol, that you're just fully aware of what's going on. I don't see Sol going anywhere. It's not going to go to zero, anything like that. But you can't ignore the fact that a large portion of the volume and TVL on Solana is meme coins, and a Pump.Fun is the third largest DEX on Solana. You know, it's a fact.
yep.
So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. Do with it as you will. Finally, I'm seeing something to do with swap. Those of you that have been watching us for a while, me and Jeff have been using our constellation, our Stargazer wallet to farm Paca in hopes of getting an airdrop of Swap, which is going to be the Dex on DAG. And I have got to the point to where I was just like, is this ever going to happen? And finally, I'm seeing something that the swap tokenomics are going to drop this week. So it's another step closer to potentially the swap token being launched. So excited to see that. I definitely very bullish on DAG. and would love to see some DeFi on DAG because I have a very large bag of
Mm-hmm.
DAG and
Bag of dag.
bag of DAG, and we like DAGs. So yeah, I definitely would love to see this launch so that I could potentially start earning with that bag of DAG. So
Mm.
that's all I got for
Oh, got
news.
some
Okay,
doobie doo. Got a nice little
doobie
range on
doo.
his wrap Bitcoin USBC. I didn't know that was a stable coin.
I think he just typoed.
Yeah, USDC. That's a nice range that he got too.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's that's really nice. Like what are you earning? Like what's your APR if you don't mind me asking?
Hmm. Yeah, I got an Akita pool yesterday. Um,
Oh, actually, yeah, this is one that I got into. I wanted to try it out on Beefy. So it's, on Uniswap, KTA wrapped ETH, like my other pools. But I entered into this Beefy one because with how volatile KTA has been, um, these Beefy vaults and pools, they actually are automated. So it automatically keeps you in range. And so I've been testing out. This is the one I've been testing out the AVAX USDC and Sonic USDC and now
mhm.
Kita wrapped ETH, and just to see how it does. So I
Oh,
mean,
cool.
so far in AVAX I've earned $100. Kita since I started it only 45 cents. But I mean I'm on track to earning 1% a day. So if it can maintain that, I'll be happy. So
Oh shit.
anyway, there's that. But like I said, it's just if you're one of those people out there that don't have the time to constantly monitor these pools and making sure that you're staying in range, and you want to do a ranged pool, Beefy might be an option for you. If you don't have the time to be monitoring your pools and you want to make sure that you're always earning, again, I suggest, not financial advice, but this is what I do. I use lending and full range pools because it just earns you, less APR, less yield, but strong, consistent yield. And strong, consistent yield over time, more often than not, can outpace a ranged position just because it's that slow and steady wins the race. That rabbit might earn you 100, $200 in a day, but that full range pool, could make you every couple of weeks $100. But that
Hmm.
one that earned you $200 might go way out of range, and it might be out of range for a month, 2 months, 3 months, unless you rebalance and lock in losses. So do with that as you will.
Like
But
I said, 38%
all right,
down now, but I mean,
38% is I mean on Bitcoin, that's an
yeah.
awesome APR. I mean, do not fade, 20, 30, 40, 50% APR. In
Mm-mm.
traditional stock market, if you're making 10% a year, that's considered, stellar. And you also have to think about it's not just the APR. You're compounding. So it's 38% APR, but any time that you claim those rewards, you can compound it back in to where, and if you look at any compounding interest chart, you can see that over time, compounding yield, it pays huge dividends. I mean, talk to any of us that are doing the arrow locks. I mean,
Hmm.
you start out with not that much, but every week we're getting payouts, and that compounds back in automatically to where you might start out with 5,000 arrow and earn $100 a week, or earn 100 arrow a week or something like that. But you got to figure that every time you add, that 100, that instead of 5,000, now it's 5,100. Instead, the next week it's 5,200, it's 5,300, it's 5,400, and you start earning more than $100 or 100 arrow per week. It might be 105, then 110, then 120, and it just grows and grows and grows. So, make sure that you're fully
Hmm.
understanding these, pools and locks and things that you're getting into, because it's not just APR, it's volume. It's, how often does it compound? These things are all key factors. And maybe I'll put something together that has, all of this stuff, like a checklist almost to go over, before you enter in these pools.
That would
So
be good.
Ellie says her locks are getting fat.
Ooh, pH fat?
PHAT, pretty hot and tempting.
PHAT. Oh yeah, earlier Doobie Doo said wasn't
Oh,
Pump
sorry.
Fun supposed to launch a token? Remember they were
What's
talking
that?
about Pump Fun? This is earlier. Weren't they supposed to launch a token? I think it was when we were talking about Pump Fun. Um, he asked. So I thought that
Oh,
they were gonna launch one, but I don't know. There's been so much shit with that platform.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, I mean, just do with that information as you will. Our job here is just to try to find good, credible information and give it to you. What you do with that information is up to you. As
Hmm.
always, we're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. All that stuff. So, so yeah. No, Jeff, if you want to take it, let's hear about this new
Oh
protocol.
yeah, let me pull up our the Ducat. Ducat. Let me share my screen over
Is it
here.
is it Du Hast?
Du
Du
Du hast
Du
mich.
hast Du hast mich.
Bro, that's the classic. Oh, all right.
Du hast mich. Du
Ducat.
hast.
We got a brand new project that is rolling out on the Bitcoin network called Ducat, and it's a Bitcoin native stablecoin. Um, and yeah, you can borrow against your Bitcoin as collateral. The first decentralized stablecoin that's native to the Bitcoin network. And we'll kind of show you, they are in their testnet phase, and it is completely free. So I started this this past week on our channel wallet, and we'll be walking through that there as well. But we'll kind of dive into some of the features. It just closed their first round of funding, which
Hold on, real quick.
you have.
Doobie Doo has five freaking KTA pools open.
Jesus Christ. Are they all laddered or staggered? Like what?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll all let us know what's up with that. I'm sorry.
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
holy shit. All right, go ahead, man.
Damn, true degens in here.
Right? Man, I'm making a bunch of crackheads.
Oh man, yeah, Ducat. They did close a round of funding. They are pretty new, so kind of about 4 million funding raised in private and public sales. So keep an eye on it, and it is pretty easy to participate. And also, if you're going to be stacking Bitcoin, you want to know how to basically use it to your advantage instead of it just sitting there. And this is also going to be a great way to avoid paying all those huge taxes on your Bitcoin
Mm.
from not having to sell it and just taking out loans against it and paying
Well,
that back. So,
well, talk to a tax advisor, but
mm,
you are correct.
yeah.
It's my understanding is, and I don't know if crypto is going to be included in that, but debts or loans are non-taxable. And
Mm,
so what Jeff is saying is, if you don't want to get hit with the short-term or long-term capital gains, potentially you could, you could leverage your Bitcoin, take out a very low leverage loan to ensure you don't get liquidated, and basically access that liquidity and not get taxed on that liquidity. So
hmm. Well, it's what the extremely wealthy do, like the ultra
mhm.
wealthy. They take what was it? Someone was breaking it down really
They
well. It's
don't
like,
own
okay,
shit.
yeah, so you basically
They
own
use
shares,
trust.
or you use your what
They
the
use a
company is
trust.
worth, the valuation, or
Yeah.
yeah, and say, oh, I can, like Elon. Well, I can put up my shares as collateral, but even if he might not actually own the shares, it's like it's it's still like there as I don't know. In some ways, it's kind of like you're you're putting up nothing as collateral and getting millions in loans, and then it's like, but your assets. I don't know. It's a whole the whole house of cards of fiat is just very interesting once you start picking at it, like down to the nitty gritty. I'm surprised it hasn't blown up yet, but I'm glad it hasn't because that's made its way for Bitcoin, and we are now in a much better position for ourselves to get out of the fiat race. Because I tell you what, most of my money is in crypto. My bank account is like skinny. So, I try and stay as crypto heavy as possible. I just pay my bills in USD. But, it's right now my risk tolerance is all crypto. So I'm true degen, and so, it's that's why I'm grateful to, be in the younger stages of or the early stages of my life, because I can take on more risk and
Yeah, yeah. In the young, I mean, early. I mean,
the early, yeah. No. I'm just a little boy.
I'm a tiny young boy.
Sometimes I feel that way. Some days I wake up and my neck can't move, right? So
Oh yeah. Oh, how's your shin doing, by the way?
I'm walking normal. Yeah, I'm
Okay, good,
good.
good.
Yeah. I started doing some light kettlebell squats yesterday, so yeah, we're getting back in the movement. I'm a little sore, but yeah, I'm grateful because, man, shuffling along at like half or a quarter of my speed, because I walk fast. Growing up, my dad would drag me. He was like, "Come on, you're walking fast," and he got yelled at. Some lady stopped one day and yelled at my dad when I was like 7 or 8. She's
For
like, "You're gonna
dragging you.
rip his arm off." Yeah. But no. So here on Ducat, we will. It's pretty easy. You deposit your Bitcoin, and it's in non-custodial, full control of funds. So you own it in your wallet. Risk-based borrowing. There's flexible risk preferences, on-the-spot collateral check. So you can set your ratio, make sure that your borrow amount is healthy, and they do put limits on there to how much you can borrow and withdraw and deposit and stuff. Yeah, this is the token that you borrow, the unit, G unit.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly. What I was like, did you nut?
if you know, you know, man.
Yeah, right.
So you can
We just
use.
dated ourselves.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, so you can use this unit anywhere in the Bitcoin finance ecosystem. So repay your vault to unlock and withdraw your Bitcoin collateral, and you can borrow up to 62.5% of your Bitcoin collateral.
Well, and
Uh,
actually, this is a good time to emphasize that
mm,
this platform is non-custodial.
mm-hmm.
So what that means is that it's fully non-custodial, meaning that you retain complete control over your assets. So if you take
Your
out a leverage
keys.
loan against it, it will lock it, to where you can't, take it out, and because you're using it as collateral. But
Mm-hmm.
once you repay the loan, or pay it down, or make sure that it doesn't get liquidated, things like that, then if the platform goes under, they don't take your assets with them, because it's non-custodial. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially it's locked up in a smart contract. So you
Yes.
have a contract, and that's on the blockchain. That isn't per Ducat, like on that's not if the protocol went down, Ducat would have to own that. Like
Hmm.
VFAT, right? VFAT owns or holds on to your NFT, right? The because VFAT, you have to integrate that into or move your position from Aerodrome into VFAT, right?
Well,
Does
I don't believe that they're custodial. I
Okay.
would have to take a look. Sorry, off the
Okay.
top of my head, I look at so many protocols. I'd have to look. I don't believe that they're
Mm.
custodial, but like again, I don't want to give bad information out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find that because that would be good to know. Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to worry about like if Coinbase went down, you wouldn't have to, or if Ducat went down, you wouldn't have to worry about that happening to where you can't
Mhm.
get your funds. Um,
That's
yeah,
just super important. I wanted to make sure that we highlighted that while we were on that topic.
yeah, that's good. And exploring the protocol, they got some different features. With the Ducat software development kit, I guess they have a specialized software development kit for the protocol. I mean, it's great. The one thing that I am concerned about with, at least right
Sorry.
now with the Bitcoin
Yeah,
stuff, or
can I
yeah,
jump in real quick?
yeah,
So I just looked it up because I want to make sure I didn't forget. So
mm,
VFAT is non-custodial. Users maintain
okay,
self-custody of their funds as the platform simplifies complex operations like entering and exiting positions, compounding, or rebalancing. So you keep full control. So sorry, go ahead.
oh no, thank you, yeah, we wanna bring you the alpha man, the
Yes,
alpha.
I
So
don't want to say something if it's not true.
all right, yeah, liquidated vaults. When a vault's collateralization level falls below 135%, the protocol sells the vault to the first user willing to recapitalize the vault's Bitcoin deficit. So there you go. That's pretty. It's almost like a gamification. So yeah. If you are gonna get like liquidated, you could essentially go and buy somebody's Bitcoin vault if they can't repay it. So that will be interesting because I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen that before. Um, now that like I wonder if you buy the Bitcoin vault from somebody, I wonder if it's immediate or if they have like a timer or if you have to approve like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to repay this. Somebody else take it over. I don't know.
That's
That
a good question. I mean, and again, like a lot of this stuff is really hard. And I went into the Discord for for Ducat earlier today to get some input from the community. And to be honest, I mean, I I was not able to get any good in information from them. So
yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Um, but so anyway, I would love to hear from the community. If any of you are watching, please reach out to us because we really want to make sure that we get this stuff, this information accurate that we're putting out. And so, when we have questions like this, it's great to have community members that are knowledgeable and people that are moderators and things like that that are intimately
Hmm.
familiar with these platforms to set us straight. It's that's what this is about. Is this is about vetting out all these different things. So.
Yeah, because it really helped when the keytards were in here, just helping,
Hmm.
like, hey, this is that, and it's just really good to get that information direct and not have to go pull teeth.
Yeah, right.
um, okay, maximize your profit. Returns are targeted between 7 and 30%, depending on the vault's liquidation parameters. So, to give liquidators a very strong incentive to participate. And let's see what else we got. Okay, and they have what the liquidations, yeah, they have the documentation right here that you can dive deeper into the protocol itself, how it works, the unit token, and governance, architecture, all the fun, nerdy stuff. But we want the free money because there is a leaderboard and you can earn quanta in order to qualify for whatever their airdrop is. And this is on the Bitcoin testnet, which I haven't really done a lot of Bitcoin testnet projects. And the ones that I have, it was just really painful getting testnet tokens on the Bitcoin testnet. but this one I've been successful, and
Well,
I
and
have
let
you
let's
what?
let's make sure let's delineate real quick. So Quanta is correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff. Quanta is the token that you earn for interacting with the test net, potentially for an airdrop, possibly to be announced. Then you
Mm-hmm.
have a unit, which is the stable coin that's 160% over collateralized stable coin backed by Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And then is Ducat gonna be a token as well, like a governance token? Because
Let's
I believe it
see.
says there's a Ducat token, a Bitcoin native asset using runes governs the protocol.
So yeah, that will be at the Ducat token.
Okay, so there's going to be like after it launches, then basically
Yeah,
the
they'll have
Quanta
their
will go
unit.
away, and they'll just be Ducat and unit.
Yeah, because Quanta is
Okay,
like their collecting points
pre-launch.
or
Yeah.
yeah, pre-launch, whatever yeah.
I just wanted to make
So
sure people understood, the difference between each.
yeah, that's good. No, thank you. Yeah, because Quanta, you're like, what are all these different things? You got Quanta, this and
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. And so I
A lot of
wanted to make sure.
nuances.
Yeah, Quanta is worth nothing. It's a ghost token that's just being used for the test net. And then
Hmm.
after launch, Unit is the stable coin that basically backs all the BTC loans that is over collateralized by 160%. And then you have the Ducat token, which is the governance token. And I'm sure they'll have some sort of, staking or, some sort of locking to where you can do that to earn yield and, vote on, proposals and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you will need a Bitcoin native wallet. So here is either the Xverse or Unisat. And I have the Unisat wallet. And if you need to get it, you can come here and download the app itself. I'm going to unpin some of these because we don't need those. So you can download the wallet. Um, oh, the Xverse, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got the browser extensions. But I have the Unisat, and you can come in here and create your own wallet. I think it's 12 word seed phrase that some of them have the 24 words, but others you just need, let me put in my password. So when you set up your wallet, the Bitcoin test nets are a little confusing. You have to set up the right network. And if you go up here to the top of the wallet, you'll see Bitcoin.
Mm.
You want to click that, and you have these different networks: Bitcoin, Bitcoin testnet, fractal testnet. So you want to click this Bitcoin testnet and this first one, not the testnet 4, but just Bitcoin testnet. And should see, let's connect. And when you connect, you will not see anything in your balance right here. It'll be 0. So we will go and get testnet tokens, which I will provide a link for down below. But you do need a GitHub account. So it is free. So GitHub is a place where developers or software developers upload their open source code, and you just need to create a profile, and it'll allow you to get testnet Bitcoin. So
Mm.
once you sign in, right here says how much in sats, how much Bitcoin. Just click this 1M because that's the most you can claim at one time. And
1 million.
you get $1 million. So your connected wallet, you want to make sure to copy this wallet address right here, or in your wallet itself. You can see account 1. You can copy that and go back over here to this faucet, and where it says destination, I'm going to paste that, and then we'll make it rain. But I've already requested my payment about an hour ago, right before we got on. So I think I've been able to do it twice in a day. Sometimes you are only allowed one request per day, but sometimes trying different devices you can sneak past it, or changing your VPN. So yeah, it just
I,
depends.
is this something that you might have tried, Jeff?
mm,
I'm looking at you with my judgmental eyes.
I cannot confirm. I plead the fifth. One, two, three, four,
That's right. I
fifth.
plead the
Anything you
Dave
say, I say
Chappelle.
fifth.
Beef, beef. That's freaking Dave Chappelle.
Oh man, hey, we need another skit comedy show like that, man. Like
I
the
know,
Dave Chappelle and the
I don't
Key
think
and
Tosh.
Peele.
Yeah, and Tosh and
Tosh,
dude,
man, that
Tosh
was
point oh. Oh, I love that guy.
yeah, that was great DGen stuff. All right,
Yeah.
so now that we got our little, nice little bag of Bitcoin in here, we can come down here to earn Quanta, and they have these missions that let's log in real quick. So signature request, we are only signing to log in. And here is our page. So we're ranked 8,351 right now. So that's nice. What did the five fingers say to the face?
I'm Rick James.
Rick James, bitch. Oh, fuck your couch. Oh, man. Oh, part of Botanics Labs. Yeah, Botanics was one that I kind of said fuck it, because I I had a hard time getting just active in that test net. It's just some of the Bitcoin ones have been worse than pulling teeth. But here you can see you have this new level that we've unlocked. Oh, nice. Our total quanta, the missions, they have these side piece missions. And we'll go ahead and level up since I've earned some quanta, see where we're at. Boom, red giant. So let's level
Oh
this
shit.
up. Boom. So next is a 60,000 quanta. So let's,
Do you have this on the channel wallet?
this is the channel wallet. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I started this the other day, I think.
So
Yeah.
those of you that don't know, me and Jeff started a channel wallet, a DCA wallet, and he's farming these airdrops, and then I'm going to DeFi it. We're going to see how big we can grow this bitch, this bull
See,
run.
we got that rank. 8,351. Let's go. So your first leap, connect your socials, and I don't have this Matrica. I need to start that, but connect your Twitter, Telegram, Discord, all that good shit. And foundation set is your first steps to explore, interact, and engage with Ducat. So these tasks right here are opening a vault, which you'll deposit your Bitcoin and you'll borrow the unit token, you'll repay and withdraw. So basically you're testing out each one of the features. And they have up to 35. So you can collect up to 55,500 quanta. And so far I've done one of the tasks for each, and I was gonna do another set for everyone here, just kind of show. But you want to do this 35 times. You can do it a couple times a day, but the reason why I do kind of worry, and I hope that they move this onto the Lightning Network, is the fees, because the Bitcoin fees aren't cheap. It's on par, if not worse,
And
than
it's slow.
Ethereum, and slow.
And it's slow.
Yeah. So it does, the testnet tokens that I get each day, I can only do so many transactions. So, we'll come over here, and there's Echo the Signal, where you spread the word and share stuff on their social media and join the Ducat Discord. So this is all social media stuff. So you can earn 0 quanta if you want to be generous for them. But here on the left side, you'll see the protocol dashboard, and that's the total Bitcoin in the Ducat vaults, the total unit borrowed, collateral ratio, active vault. So this gives you an idea of what's going on in the protocol, shows all the recent transactions,
So,
and
so
down.
basically, all of this is gonna let you know the health of the protocol.
Mhm.
So, how much collateral they have. How many people that are lending Bitcoin versus how many are borrowing. All of these things that potentially is going to be keep a healthy ecosystem.
Yeah. So you don't have to go to DeFi Llama or Dex Screener or something to get all that. It's like right here, specific for the protocol itself.
Well,
Yeah, and you.
and it's great for confidence. It's
Mhm.
good to get analytics directly from the source.
It really is.
And
Yeah.
then bounce it off of things like DeFi Llama just to make sure
Mhm.
you're getting it firsthand and secondhand. So if they match up, there's a good chance it's all accurate data.
No, that is a good thing to bring up. Check at least two or three different sources to make sure the data is, on par with each other. Because you don't
Well,
want, I checked some different exchanges and one price could be, 10% higher than another. And it's like,
well,
oh
dude,
shit.
it's what we do in the military for for intel work. If you
Hmm.
take your SIGINT or your signals intelligence, your human intelligence, and any other intel that you get, and if they're talking about a certain thing, you make sure that it's all aligning. That
Mm.
all the information is accurate, because that's going to give you a better picture if it's just shit talk or if it's actual actionable intelligence.
Oh man, Ellie, I think she was too young for the Dave Chappelle. She's like, what are y'all talking?
He's like, "What are you talking about, you old
Oh
sons of
man,
bitches?"
you definitely, if you didn't watch the Chappelle show, you got to go.
Yeah,
It's timeless,
right,
timeless.
right. The
All
haters
right,
ball.
yeah. Oh, so we got the vaults over here, and as you can see, I've got a little bit deposited in there, some of our transactions, and the health of our vault. So initially, you won't see this. You'll just see create a vault, and it'll ask you to deposit some Bitcoin. And so we'll deposit a little bit in here. And this shows your balance.
Keep that vault
And
healthy.
yeah, and you can check right here the vault health. So risky, Bitcoin values nearing liquidation, moderate, still safe, and then strong. So 196% and up. So
So
we'll.
for those of you that might not understand what he's doing right now, is he's actually depositing more Bitcoin into his vault. And
Mhm.
so potentially, if it was in the yellow or it was in the red, where he's gotten a bunch of warnings to where hey,
Mhm.
you're about to get liquidated, you're getting close to liquidation. He can go in there, he can deposit more, he can pay pay down the loan, whatever he needs to do to get it back into the green.
Yeah, and there is a minimum amount right here. Let's see what that is. Okay, 11, almost $12 basically. Yeah, what's the minimum point? Oh, yeah, I think it's another zero.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah, and you can
the
see
way
the liquidation price too. So
well,
as I
and that's the
increase
thing is,
this, the
but
liquidation
sometimes
price.
things move fast, and or maybe you haven't checked in a week, or
Mm,
something like that. So the way that I read the literature, documentation, is that they're going to have different ways, and maybe it's email, whatever, but they're going to alert you, well ahead of time, that the potential of you being liquidated. And then you can go in and you can do this. You can add liquidity to your vault. You can pay down, maybe sell some of your other assets to pay down the loan to get, back healthy. There's different levers that you can pull to keep from getting liquidated.
nice.
And
That's
that's why it's always really good to do low leverage. Don't do max leverage on everything, because you just all you're doing is opening yourself up to potentially getting liquidated.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and see right here, you can see the liquidation price dropping as I'm increasing
Mm.
the amount of Bitcoin. So yeah, if you're in the yellow or red, you wanna you wanna give yourself a little more, little bump,
Yeah,
little bump a bitty.
I just I just need a bump to get going.
You just need a bump to get me out the red, man. Get me out the
I just need
red.
a bump.
And you can pick right here your fee rate. You got the 9 sats, 8 sats, 2 sats, but it's gonna be slow AF. Man, 60 minutes. Whew.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the downside of Bitcoin. I mean, it's
Damn.
nothing against, obviously nothing against the token itself or the coin itself, but the network, and as stuff like this, starts getting built out on it, it's just going to get slower.
Yeah. They need
You
they
know,
need
and,
that
and
lightning network.
that's the thing. Is they're going to have to build out projects that assist with this. Either some sort of automated escrow or something to where it can settle these transactions a lot faster, and then in the
Mm-hmm.
background you get the finality over time, but there's some profit to be made for being the the in between or the go between.
Yeah. 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 And like you said with XRP, they're not going to be using XRP to move assets or
No,
transfer funds like that. It's going to be something
stake it.
stable because if even if
Yeah,
it moves a 0.5%, by the time it gets to its destination, with the amount of money that these institutions are moving, they're not going to want
no.
that.
Well, and to be fair, it's like, yes, the XRP can still be used, but
Hmm.
will it? Genuinely ask yourself, if you were going to send $100 million, and would you use XRP that could move even like Jeff was just saying, 0.5% in the during the transaction, or are you going to use a stable coin that isn't going to move at all or very little? Which are you going to use?
Hmm.
And which are governments going to allow you to use?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's that aspect.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be objective. Again, you cannot get married to and get emotional about your bags. You need to seriously, as the fundamentals change in these projects, you need to be critical. I mean,
Hmm.
you need to be your own worst enemy when it comes to your bags. It's you need to constantly be second guessing yourself, digging into the fundamentals, making sure that nothing major has changed, like Jeff was talking about when we were talking to TJ the other day over at Discover Crypto. He asked how we felt about Plume still because the CTO died. And Jeff was like, hey, if this would have happened 6 months, a year ago, before they had a finished product, I might think twice about my investment in Plume. But they had a finished product. So that it didn't affect my decision to stay with the project. So
Hmm.
again, these are questions you need to ask yourself. But back to Ducat. Sorry.
Yeah, Ducat, the Ducat. Okay, yeah, we're gonna. Where are we at? Oh yeah, depositing. So this is the transaction that you'll see in your wallet, and it'll show, how much testnet you need to pay, and we'll go ahead and sign that.
And we're healthy.
And we are. Oh, we gotta wait.
In
I mean,
progress.
thankfully, this testnet has been moving pretty quick, and you can see your
Still waiting.
progress. I've had, yeah.
Still waiting.
I think I've had one or a couple fail, but that was because I didn't have enough testnet tokens.
You need to have elevator music while you wait.
Yeah, see, deposit failed. Sometimes doesn't go through.
And that's what these test nets are all about, is
Hmm.
for them to find bugs, stress test it, make sure all the buttons work, make sure that the smart contracts are generated properly, look for exploits, look for bugs. That is why they incentivize people, like Jeff that does these airdrops to do this stuff, is because they can see the errors.
Okay. Submitted. Oh, enable Telegram notifications.
There
Cool.
you
So you
go.
can get
So
Telegram
that's how
notifications.
they're gonna. I guess one of the initial ways they're gonna alert you about the health of your vault. Is that
Okay.
am I getting that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it looks like it because I just noticed that myself.
Okay, no,
I mean,
that's
shit, that'd be
fucking
another good
awesome.
option. Yeah.
Sweet.
Our vault, and we deposited more Bitcoin. And if we go back to our quantum missions, we should look in the foundation set. And before I just had one, now I have 2 times that I've deposited. So yeah, just remember you want to do each one of these steps 35 times, and you'll have to. That's why I say set a daily task list. In the evenings, I like to just zip through these, and it keeps everything like I don't have to do all kinds of stuff throughout the day. I can just do all this at night and get everything done. That way I don't have to worry about it. But over here, you'll borrow. You can see the maximum amount, but you're going to get probably liquidated. um, and you can see the amount I have borrowed already and the additional borrow amount that I'm going to do. So we'll borrow a little bit. And yeah, it's kind of straightforward after this. You repay and then you withdraw a little bit. This transaction has multiple, so there's 2 that you need to sign, right? Transaction 1 and 2. You just click that little view and you can see like all the transaction information. Now on mainnet, it will be more important to kind of pay attention to that because it is like, it said $12 for the first one. Yeah, Bitcoin transaction fee, yeah. Oh no, that's Sats. Never mind. No, Bitcoin transaction fees are still pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I don't think I have. If you run into this issue of it not working and failing, just refresh, disconnect your wallet, reconnect. The black hole project that we did, that we covered on Saturday, same thing. If you try and swap, I've found sometimes it fails and you just have to refresh. And let's see if this works now.
Enhance.
Or change your VPN to somewhere else because some projects have issues in certain regions. Okay,
Seven,
look.
getting 7,000% on my KTA wrapped ETH right now.
Fuck yeah.
Getting 366% on wrapped AVAX USDC.
Whoo. Hey, we want to see them triple and quadruple digit percents.
Plume's been doing good this afternoon.
Oh,
I
hell
mean,
yeah. Okay.
there's a couple 100% APR there for a while.
So you see now it completed when it just failed a few minutes ago. That's why just refresh the page and try it again. If you have to, come up here and disconnect and reconnect your wallet. But like Mike said, in these test nets, it can fail, and you just have to keep hammering at it. Repaying, same thing. I would just repay a little bit and do that, and also withdraw a little bit just so you get the task completed. So each day, come in here, go to this, get some testnet tokens. Like I said, claim with the 1M. I have a video guide dropping tomorrow on this. So full walkthrough, and yeah, each day, come claim your testnet tokens, come in here, deposit, borrow, repay, withdraw, you're done, and doesn't take very long. And could possibly earn you some free crypto that you can use into DeFi to earn you more free crypto. How about that, Mike? Doesn't that sound lovely?
Yes, it does. Bitcoin Way, we must have fixed it. So
Oh,
anybody in the chat that if your chats aren't showing up in the live chat, message me your URL for your YouTube account. I need to add you in the admin, in the back end to unfuck whatever YouTube is doing to make it to where you can't show up in the chat.
oh yeah. I was just reading that. Yeah, actually, a lot of these don't require, or many don't require daily interaction. Some do. Like there's this one, Pharos, that they have a daily check-in thing that we covered this a few weeks ago, but they have a daily check-in and stuff like that does count towards your progress. But oh, look like Mike drop off. You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, your mic.
It was
I don't
just
think you're.
Elon.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Can you all
You can
hear
hear me
him,
now.
or is it just me?
No, just keep going.
I don't know. I don't hear you now.
Keep
I
going.
think your I think your stuff got reset in the studio. Maybe. That's okay. Oh, you can hear Mike? Cherrywell? Oh, okay. I guess I'm the one that's ass out. I don't know why I can't hear you. Are you there? No?
Dude, just go.
That's
Go.
weird. Okay. Either way, um, yeah, I might have to toss it over to you because I can't hear you. That's weird. But yeah, Shadul, if you can hear me, yeah, participate in what you can. I have a bookmark folder that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I don't have to do stuff every day on some of these. My daily task right here has quite a few. Um, yeah, so I got quite a few on the daily task list. But if you can't do it daily, do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, whatever works for your schedule. And I say it's easy for me to do stuff at night because I can just sit here and hammer things out and not have to worry about it, in the morning and afternoon. So, yeah, whatever works for your schedule, but make sure you have stuff organized and have a plan. And once you get into a routine, it'll get easier and easier for you to add more over time because you just want to start with a few testnet and then build up from there, as you go along your journey.
Can you hear me now?
And that's really all I have on the Ducat vault. I'm not sure why I can't hear you, Vet.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on your end.
I'm gonna refresh my. I'll toss it over to you. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh mine. I'm gonna toss your screen. You gotta share.
All right. So while he does that, hopefully, I'm guessing you all can hear me. That's what you were saying in the chat. So let's go through some of these pools real quick. So let me take this. Where's here? We'll do this. All right. So I actually rebalanced my plume pool. I got tired of watching it out of range, and so rebalanced it. And earlier today, it was a couple of 100%. So I was able to rack up $40 in a couple of hours, but not too bad. It's for a couple of hours of doing nothing, I earned free money. Can you hear me now, Jeff?
We back. Yes.
All right. Yeah, no, I was trying to tell you. I don't know why. I was like a tourist. I was
Oh,
like
you keep
talking loud and
it.
using my hands. I'm like, if you can't hear me, what am I doing? So it's like everybody in the chat's like making. He said, "Go on without him."
Just keep it
So yeah,
going.
Plume was doing good earlier today. Do not. I'm not worried about Plume. Me personally, I see what they're building, how clean, how robust their ecosystem is. It's not going anywhere, in my opinion. I'm going to
Mm.
keep earning and plussing up my bags at these low levels. I mean, this is an epic buying opportunity. So I'm just going to keep stacking Plume, and then what else we got here? Here is the wrapped ETH Kita pools. They were, one was in range, one was about to be in range. But just with the volatility of KTA recently, Kita, it's been really hard to keep them in range. And I have really wide ranges set. You can see I got, 24% on one, 22% on another. And I actually got somewhat frustrated with it, and that's why I started this one over on Beefy. So Beefy is another
Mm.
DeFi aggregator like VFAT, and just like VFAT, it has added functionality. So with VFAT, here, let me pop it back over there real quick. I'll show you. And I've covered this. I have an in-depth tutorial on VFAT in the DeFi Academy, but you can see that there's a bunch of functionality that they don't have on Uniswap and Aerodrome and natively on a lot of these DeFi protocols. So you can increase your your deposit just with a couple of clicks. You can rebalance with a couple
Mm.
of clicks. Obviously you can withdraw, but the cool thing is you can increase, withdraw, all of these different things with anything in your wallet. So it's not like you have to, get the exact assets that are in that pool like you do again natively on these protocols. So that's the cool thing about these DeFi aggregators. But back to Beefy. The reason I opened a KTA wrapped ETH pool here and didn't just open another one on VFAT is this pool here is it has automations built in. So as part of whenever you generate a pool here in the smart contract, what Beefy does is it actually will auto rebalance and automatically do a lot of these things to keep you in range and keep you earning. So, like I mentioned before, if you're somebody that maybe doesn't fully understand how these pools work, or or you don't have the time to monitor, your ranged pools,
Mm.
Beefy is a really good way that you can take advantage of narrower ranges and still ensure that you stay in range. So it does, there are some fees, some, very small fees that are involved with this, of course. They're providing a service, they're going to want to get paid for it. So, make
Mhm.
sure that you look into, the fees that they charge. And I'll probably be doing a Beefy tutorial here pretty soon. I've done one on Aerodrome. I've done one on VFAT. I'll do one on this as well. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But so yeah, I mean that's kind of an update on the some of the pools that I'm in. If anybody has any
Cherrywell
questions,
asked if, yeah, I think you still have most of yours on ETH mainnet, right? You haven't
um,
migrated.
I actually have opened some very small ones to test out on the Plume mainnet. So I did
Right.
migrate over some of my Plume over to the Plume mainnet. Here, I'll share this real quick.
Yeah, that was in Rooster.
One of many. So here's the portal, and actually, you know what? I'll do my spin. I'll do my spin
Oh
live.
yeah, I just got ghosted on the spin.
Oh, I want to hit that diamond. I want that freaking payout.
You want that
So here,
six K 6,000
let's do
plume? I
that.
think it
Let's
is,
do
or
that
eight
real quick.
thousand.
8,000 this time. It was 6 the last time. All right.
Hmm.
I need everybody to cross your fingers and toes for me. I'm while I spin this bad boy. All right. Let's see if I can get the dollar. Let's see if I can get the dollar.
If he gets the diamond, Vet's doing a giveaway.
Yeah, right. Just raffle tickets.
Raffle.
All right.
You might be able to win a Tesla. Oh no, that's BYD.
Yeah, it's a
Oh yeah.
BYD. I got 128 tickets on that, and I got 40 tickets on the Apple Vision Pro. But so I have about almost $1,200 that I've moved over here. And the cool thing about this is you can actually go to your profile, and it will show you on all of Plume's ecosystem. So like whenever we went through and we did all the different tasks, and we bridged and we did all those different things to earn points. This is basically what I ended up with is a little bit of dust in each of these, and then you can see where I bridged over a bunch of liquidity over to mainnet Plume and not ETH Plume, because ETH mainnet, sorry, it sucks. It's slow, it's
Mm-hmm.
expensive. So I moved all this liquidity over here so that I can as I see how these perform, I'm potentially going to start adding liquidity to each of these so that I can make sure that I'm growing my DeFi portfolio. So again, I don't believe Plume is going anywhere. It's just way too sexy of an ecosystem to just disappear. And then not to mention the over 200 institutions that are building out dApps or decentralized apps on the
Dude.
Plume mainnet, including Ondo and other really big names. So I don't see Plume going anywhere personally.
No, and you got quite nice. You're in quite a few protocols too, so that's good. Having some
Oh yeah,
exposure in different ones. Solera, Rooster, Nest, yeah.
yeah, oh, yeah. I have a little bit in everything. Just like I said, I want to see how each of them are performing, because I do that quite a bit. I'll put like $20 in a pool, and because sometimes the APRs can be misleading, and other data points can be misleading. So I'll put $20 in a pool and let it sit for a week or two, and then I'll just do some simple math and be like, okay, on average, this is what I made the past week. Is that something that is juicy enough for me?
Yeah, you gotta take that risk benefit analysis. Oh,
Let's see.
I think Ellie accidentally hid the Bitcoin way and then unhid her. You can hide people in the chat? Oh, did Mike freeze? Or is that?
There we go.
Oh, did you freeze?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, my internet's acting up today. So
No, you're.
blame the pine trees. So so yeah, no, that's basically what I was wanting to touch on is that don't pay. Me personally, I'll just say what I do. I don't pay attention to price. Price will FUD you out. There is way too much manipulation in this market now, with the amount of money that's flowing in from institutions and things and governments and whales. We're not just dealing with whales anymore. We're not just dealing with degen whales. The market is changing. We are moving from a speculative market to a utility market. These banks and institutions have so much money that they can, they're toying with people. They're just, if you look at the heat maps, they're dumping and pumping Bitcoin to liquidate people, and there we go. They're
Oh,
pumping and dumping the markets to basically to steal people's money. So um, me personally, I would not do any leverage trading just because the market cap is far too low right now and far too manipulative. I'm just hanging back and doing DeFi, and just as it they pump the market and they're liquidating the shorts, they're dumping the market and liquidating the longs. Those of us in DeFi are just sitting back and just watching the yield. It doesn't matter what the market
mm-hmm.
is, because most of those levels, the liquidation levels they're at, are areas of psychological support resistance and levels of support resistance. If you look at the charts, so as long as you have a good range, yeah, sometimes you're going to go out of range. Nothing is perfect. However, if you use full range pools, if you use lending to build out the base of your portfolio to where you earn good, steady yield, again, it might only be 30 or 40 or 50%. However, you can have some range positions or do things like I was just talking about on PV, where it auto rebalances for you, and you can just sit back and just watch the yield roll while other people are getting liquidated. You're just earning yield. If the markets are pumping, if the markets are dumping, or if they're moving sideways, you're always earning.
Yeah, especially when you get some news that comes out like an hour ago, like
Like a Trump
trying to
tweet.
shake the market. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to worry about, oh yeah, they're yeah, Ellie. You just never know, man, with these tweets.
And don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people like Drew over at Blockchain Basement, Josh over at Discover Crypto. There's a lot. Frankie Fingers or whatever, uh, Frankie Candles or,
Yeah.
you got oh shit, forgot his name. Super cool dude. Chickens, Homesteader, Yoked
Oh,
Beef, Jason Casper.
yeah,
But
Casper.
in Jason Casper, there's plenty of people out there that know how the markets are manipulated and they use it to their advantage. But I'm just not one of those people. And to be honest, I don't like how fast you have to be, how much you have to be on top of things and how fast you have to move. For those, for scalp trading and things like that. I'm old and slow. I just like being able to put my liquidity somewhere where if when I go to sleep and I wake up, I have more than when I went to sleep with. That to me, that's living the dream. Whenever you can just, go to work and every time you check, you just have a little bit more. You're outpacing inflation. That's what I'm using DeFi for.
Yes. Yes. No, and speaking of some DeFi, I wanted to give a shout out to one of the community members that came from the basement, Dank Redneck, and
Right.
he kind of created a pretty, looks like it's a poppin' hot XRP meme coin, kind of a community coin that he's trying to turn into a DeFi project that's called Arc XRP DeFi. And he was saying how he's got some people in the XRP maxis who are hyping this up. So I wanted to shout out
Um,
some
I'm
love.
I'm I'm sure I'm sure they are. Anything that potentially can add some pumpage to it. Let's see. Oh, you got anything else, brother? I think that we've covered everything.
Oh man, we
Throw
got
up any
a
questions
lot.
that any of you have in the chat, and we're more than happy to answer any questions on the way out.
Um,
Oh, actually, one thing I did want to
ooh,
ask you that I forgot about. Was this a fair launch on Ducat?
for
Ducat.
I haven't seen any. I actually don't even think I saw any tokenomics in the
No, I think the tokenomics haven't been released yet.
That's a good question.
So actually, I found this tokenomics in testnet. Quanta points incentivize early adoption are expected to convert into Ducat tokens at Genesis. Though conversion rates are undisclosed, this rewards active non-custodial participation. Huh. Interesting.
Maybe our friends in the Discord can help us with that.
Like I said, I went in there earlier and was, I let them know we were going live tonight. I was hoping, some of them would be here in the chat, but again, it's not a huge community, or it doesn't seem to be anyway. I take that back. There's a definitely a decent amount of people in there, but I just, again, I kept asking questions and just kept being told by the mod to, look at the documentation, and so that's what I did. So
Fuck. Oh man, yeah. And we're gonna have a man. I tell you what, I'm excited for Saturday's episode because
what are we covering?
whoo. Well, I don't know yet, but I have a surprise
A surprise?
for everyone. Yeah, yeah. I'm having a little work done in the afternoon, so I'll be able to show some new ink. Let's just say
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought you were gonna say you were gonna get a mohawk or something.
No, I'll have a new friend next to my poo. I have poo on my arm.
Yeah, got the poo.
I got poo on my arm. It doesn't come off. But yeah, no, I don't know, and some other exciting stuff that I can't disclose just yet, but will be some upgrades. Let's just say that. So I'm excited. This week
Deadwood
is
is saying Plume has more RW. Oh yeah. Let me go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep on going. I'm gonna look up Plume real quick on DeFi
no, I,
Llama.
I was done.
I know what he's talking about.
So I mean, you're gonna see them migrate probably a lot from ETH, like what you're doing. Um, Sheesh.
Let's see.
I mean,
All
that's
right.
really good. Uh, if you're holding that token, you want to make sure that your mainnet launch isn't just because Scroll. When Scroll Network launched, the TVL just got wiped because they were airdrop hunting. So once the
Oh
network
shit.
launched, it was game over. And you don't build a good product, and it launches, you're gonna be ass up.
Oh shit. Yeah, check this out. So Plume is up to 60 million on as far as TVL, but what he was talking about, let's say addresses. Is it active
Yeah, man.
addresses?
There's always gonna be FUD, some kind of FUD.
There was something I was looking at the other day, and it was Plume is. Oh, okay, maybe that's where I saw it. Jay said he posted it in the Discord. If you're not a member of our Discord yet, I definitely suggest that that you get in there. It's we a lot. We're going to start doing a master course in the DIG in the Discover Investment Group, and
Here you go.
And also, our Discord will be a part of that. And it's just going to be a collaboration of all of you out there that are at different levels. Some of you are just barely getting into DeFi. Some of you have been in longer than I have. And very well could be a lot more knowledgeable. I know there's a lot of people out there that are. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jeff. Um, the RWA holders. It's number one. It's
Gosh.
as far as growth. So do with that as you will. But um, yeah, I definitely suggest that you get in the Discord. There's some really cool, exciting things that we're going to be doing. I know that TJ over at Discover Crypto, he is setting up an advanced course for DeFi, and that he's going to be sending me and a couple people through, just so that we can get more knowledgeable and help pass that knowledge off to all of you. So
Mm-hmm.
stand by for that. But a lot of that is going to come to you, through the DIG or Discover Investment Group Discord, or and our Discord.
Right here.
However, the master course is going to be in the DIG. So make sure that you're looking at getting involved in that, because if you're serious about your DeFi, then you definitely want to make sure that you're making the smartest possible moves to grow your portfolio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and there's a
everything
lot
that
of good alpha in
yeah.
here.
Oh, and everything Jeff was, just had up on the screen, with Plume and Ethereum and all that. Like Deadwood said, that's just in 2 weeks. Plume went live, mainnet went live 2 weeks ago. This is the growth. It's outpacing Ethereum. I mean, if that doesn't make you bullish on Plume, people were fading Arrow up until a couple of days. He was messaging me. I mean, my little nephew that I told to buy Arrow was calling me, and he's like, "Hey, Uncle Mike, this, my Plume is dumping. Should I sell it?" And I was like, "No, dude, do not sell your Arrow." I was like, "I'm not going to tell you to buy something that I'm not confident in." And then he just messaged me today. He's like, "It's up 50%, man." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." It's like I'm telling you, it's with the Coinbase announcement, there is nothing but blue skies and sunny weather ahead for Arrow, in my opinion. Plume,
Mm-hmm.
same thing. Kita, I'm on the fence, to be honest with Kita. I'm not as bullish on Kita. I still want to see the mainnet. We live streamed the stress test. If you believe the stress test, it wasn't third party verified that I saw, but if you believe the stress test, they at one point peaked out at 16 million TPS, which is massive. So if it's indeed true and mainnet launches and they're able to do that, KTA is going to be an awesome investment, potentially. So, I'm definitely not saying ape into KTA, but if you have some extra liquidity, you want to put it in a pool and earn some free KTA and stack a bag just in case. Might not be a bad move.
Oh wow. And here's yeah, thanks Jay for this. So
Yeah,
you have Plume asset count 45 compared to Ethereum 335. The total
but that's just in two
value.
weeks.
I know. Look at that. It's so crazy, but hey, get ready.
I'm
Get
telling you
ready.
that and I'm going to end on this. This is why
Hmm.
I only invest on data, logic, facts. I do not listen to FUD. I don't freak out when I see X posts. I don't listen to hype. I use things like DeFi Llama and our community. This is a perfect example.
Hmm.
Jay posted this in our Discord. This is how you invest. Do not chase promises of buybacks and $10,000 value per token valuations. And yes, I'm talking about XRP. Are you going to make money on XRP? Very good chance. Are you going to make $10,000 per XRP? Probably not. I'd be willing to bet a finger off of one of my hands that you're not going to see $10,000 XRP.
Oh,
But
no,
I
not at
mean,
all.
$5 XRP, absolutely. Maybe even $10, maybe. But it is a very high market cap already, and the fact that again that they came out with RLUSD and and USDC is now on the XRP ledger. There's way too many vehicles to move value now, where it's not just XRP. So anyway, I'll end with that. What do you
Looking
got,
at the
Jeff, on
chat,
to close us out?
man. Just uh. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
Oh no, have
Ellie
at it,
said
man.
she's a DeFi addicted.
Yeah, I don't even know how much plume I have. I want another plume pool.
No,
I'm down.
just practice safe DeFi. If you're in a pool and you feel like it might not be producing like you want, don't be afraid to move it to another one. But do your research. Like Mike said, just make sure picking the right pools, sticking to the DeFi commandments, and asking us questions. Get in the Discord. Get active with people in the community. We got a lot of great people that are sharing their insights and experience. So it's nice to have a collection of people who are have similar goals, but want to help each other out in the process. So I appreciate everyone that's in there, sharing your support, being open, honest, transparent. We want to make sure that we're not cheating each other and fucking each other over with bad information. And there you
Yeah.
go. The DeFi commandments.
Yeah. No, it's make sure you're investing in that you believe in. Good solid fundamentals. Don't chase APRs, don't just chase yield. You know, at first stick to things like Bitcoin and Ethereum pools and lending and stuff like that. Just play it safe. As your knowledge grows, you know, toy and play with some higher risk pools, but don't risk all your liquidity on long shots. So
Yes,
appreciate you,
yes.
Jeff. And all the knowledge and technical skill that you bring to each of these doing these deep dives. And I know that I even find them very informative, and they even educate me because it forces me to do. And again, Jeff is the one that clued me in on Plume, to begin with. Like I mentioned before, Drew over at Blockchain Basement is the one that turned me on to Arrow. These aren't
Hmm.
projects that, I found, micro cap and, I brought to the community. This is, I'm part of other communities, like ours here with Jeff and, Drew over at Blockchain Basement, one of our, brother channels. Um, and that's why community is so important. And I know I
Hmm.
keep hyping up the Discord, but these communities are how you're going to find out without having to spend hours and hours and hours poring over the millions and millions and millions of projects out there to find the gems. So with that,
Yes, yes.
thank you, Jeff.
No, I
Thank you,
appreciate
everyone out
you.
there. Deadwood, Ellie, Jay. What else?
Doobie
Who else we got?
Doo, Cherry Well, Bitcoin Way. I'm glad you're back in here.
All right. Well, till next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.